Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lenny Robbins YouTube channel. Once again, I want to say a blessed Tuesday to all Jamaicans, wherever you are, home and abroad. Wishing you all the best. And we're praying, I'm praying from where I'm standing and where I am that this whole election thing doesn't turn violent or any violence come out of it. Because I know this thing can erupt at any time based on the way debaters are conducting themselves. Even the fire that is lit by some of the bloggers, you understand, who continue to believe that partisanship is not a problem in our politics. Because there are people who are convinced that only Labour Party can do it, convinced that only PNP can do it. And is not mindful of the division, the seed of division that they are planting. It's not mindful. They're not mindful of the divisiveness they're creating in society with this partisanship approach to politics. So I'm hoping that it doesn't take root in a real way, that violently, that's going to lead to, some real consequences for people. We don't want to go back to the 70s because we see those of us who experienced, not heard about the 70s, or hear anything about the 70s. Those of us who lived through who lived through it and is alive to talk about it, knew exactly the fear of the society back then with the political violence. Now I just want to comment on three things. A video I saw on YouTube about PJ Parsons, and a video I saw also about Chuck and what's his name? Triple X. Right, and there's another one about Isaac Buchanan. I recently saw he had done an interview. Yeah, I didn't even get into that fully about the Buchanan thing, but I'll just briefly touch on it from my perspective, not what about the video. But I want to start with the PJ thing because I know that video from PJ was a resurrected, a reposted video, because that couldn't be a recent video because PJ looked far younger than back then, than what he is now. He looked far younger in that video than what he is now. So it's got to be a reposted, a resurfaced video. And he was speaking about, he homed his comment by saying that, oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome you to all of this and all of those who are here, and we now have the paper, the document to prove certain things. And this has to do with the era and the era of the Siaga governance and how the JLP was, and how the JLP was and still is a corrupt and misleading party, and the PMP was and still a very clean party. That it's better to run the country, it's far better off to run the country than the PMP, than the JLP, sorry. I heard Mr. Patterson speaks about the defeat the PNP suffered in the 51 seat won by the JLP. I think that was the 1983 election, and the PNP won only 9. And the reason for that he gave, you understand? He gave a reason for that. But I want to remind Mr. Patterson about something. And for people who, like I said, may not know. When that snap election was called, Mr. Patterson, and this is why I say politicians are really not fair. Inside, active, retired, or outside of politics, they are not fair people. They are not fair. That's why I really don't want to get into the discussion with people about politics. I'd rather give my opinion on it. And then if you think I'm speaking crap, that's up to you. But that's my opinion. Because if my opinion is crap, then Jallowell, your opinion can be crap too, because there's no politician who knows it all. Much more you and us who are on the outside. None of us knows it all. But the reason PJ gave Not that the man was wrong, totally. There's some truth to what he was saying. But what I was hoping to hear is mention, because he's trying to break down the fiscal mismanagement of the JLP and how their effort at the time destroyed the social infrastructure of the PNP of the country at the time. But what Mr. P, I say there's some truth to it, because in truth and in fact, at the time when the snap election was called, during that time, Edward Seaga and the JLP government was not a popular government in the country. Was not popular. Their favorability ratings was very low. But Mr. Patterson, you forget to mention this, sir. Or should I say, Mr. I shall return. Let me call you Mr. I shall return, because I knew you remember that speech fairly well. Mr. I shall return. Cecil Charlton, your comrade, partner in a Mandeville, did have a own. But by a answer for that statement, and name the answer I shall return. I think one of the sharp them used to train it. I came on that spark. But you forgot, Mr. I shall return, that why that snap election was called is because it was rooted in the Grenada Maurice Bishop issue. Remember the part Seaga played in that issue. And not just Jamaica alone, but the Caribbean was really getting tentative about Maurice Bishop and his leadership. You understand? Because Maurice Bishop was a man who aligned with the Michael Manley philosophy of democratic socialism and with Cuba and all these things. So the Caribbean was kind of tentative with him. We're not saying Maurice Bishop was a bad man and what he was doing was wrong for the country. I can't say that from where I stand. And I won't say that. But the decision to do that and that invasion of Grenada during that year and the part Seaga played on it, both their ratings, their favorability ratings went back up. He saw the opportunity to call a snap election, and he did. And he did. And they won. And that is political strategy, Mr. Patterson. That is not the way you can curse a party about. But honest to God, at the time the JLP wasn't favorable. Their ratings was very low at the time. Very, very low. And I just want you to be honest, Mr. Patterson, if you're coming out of retirement to speak on behalf of the PNP government or, well, going forward or anything, just be honest with the facts. Just be honest to the people that we all need to say we are seeking their approval to govern on their behalf. And the understanding that politicians goes to Parliament to govern on behalf of JLP alone or govern on behalf of PNP alone. We need to appeal to the politicians. I'm using this opportunity to appeal to politicians that shit needs to cut out. That crap needs to cut out. If you are voted to represent everybody. Once you get in a form the government, it's about Jamaica. It's not about PNP, favorably PNP. Anything you do, PNP get the first time. So, Mr. Patterson, I just want to touch on you for that, sir, because let me tell you something. The rerun of that video, I don't know if PNP sanctioned it or it was sanctioned by the PNP executive, coming out of the PNP executive body or whatever. I don't know, but if this is the best the PNP can do, I still insist that Mark Golding and the PNP is going to lose the election. Because they're doing everything to lose the election. As far as their campaigning strategy is concerned, everything to lose the election. And on the other hand, let me say this, the JLP is trying to hand the PNP victory also in this election. You understand? So it's going to be a very close call. The second video I want to move on to is that I watched this, most of it last night, is between Chuck and a man called Triple X. Now, Triple X, I must say one thing about you. You've one of the early statements you made in that debate was so self-defeating that I don't know you didn't realize it. But again, you pride yourself on saying it. And I think that's why, because you feel so confident in saying it, because I do believe you're trying to create an highway. You understand? Over Chuck. Chuck up on the local road and you on the highway. So you have more road, sweeter road, more knowledgeable road, better condition road, getting where you're going faster and easier than Chuck. And I think you come to the debate with that kind of mindset. And that's why you really said something that really defines you for the rest of that debate. And I'm going to say this to you, buddy. You mentioned that you are an analogist. You use a lot of analogy. But in debates of importance like this, brother, with this kind of importance attached to this debate, because a lot of people across the globe is listening and watching you guys. Because I read a lot of comments people are talking about. And most people didn't even give you credit for what you're saying, even though there's some truth in what you're saying. And I realize sometimes that a lot of people are not giving you credit. I have to wonder what age group they are, because some of the things you're saying, you said things which is true. But because you speak with so much analogy, and to be honest, sir, analogy are not facts. Analogies are not reality. I just have imagination of a perceived situation. That's what analogy speaks to. And next time when you hit a debate with Chuck, you don't do that. You understand? Because Chuck gave you a lot of answers where he fumbled, you know. He fumbled a lot of answers and give you a lot of opening to put him on his, you know, they must say put him on the back foot up. You understand? But because you believe in this analogical approach to your discussion, that's why you are so weak in your presentation. You weren't factual, you were all over the place, as some of the commenters say. You were really all over the place, and you were discombobulated with a lot of your suggestion. And I mean, we couldn't follow it for real where it was going. But you guys discuss a lot of stuff. It was interesting to see this kind of debate. I would support this kind of debate any day, any time. But the tone of debate now, that's what changes me. And this I've been speaking to and trying to address from the very first time I introduced this YouTube platform, or this YouTube show. Because of the way we are brainwashed, and because of the way we think we know politics, and because of the way we are so partisan in our approach to politics, we cannot see beyond the party we support. We do not see beyond the party we support. So we always think when the next person comes to debate us and they speak on behalf of the party they are supporting, they're an idiot. Or as you say, what's it, you some curse word you use to describe responses from Chuck. And I must give Chuck the praise for keeping it clean. And this is why I say, sir, you use a few curse words in the discussion because you came to the discussion thinking you were on the highway and Chuck is on the local road. And you underestimate Chuck and overrate yourself. That's not how discussion goes. And this is the thing that's wrong with discussion. If you become that debate person, so if you're in a debate and you have done a lot of debates, because you seem like a person who has done a lot of debate, and I can tell you if you goes to a debate or a negotiation settings, you cannot go there with a win-all concept. That's the very first thing you need to do. Make sure you're not entering these debates or these negotiations with a win-all concept or a win-at-all cost concept. because you don't know what the other person is coming with. So you have to go there with a open mind and a win-win situation approach. And also, so I'd like to address another thing about this whole discussion thing, because it is tearing the nation apart. It is driving people away from politics, and it is also driving the politics further down in the gutter, the way we discuss politics. When I listened to you guys last night, I do believe it was somewhere else, brother. This would be worse. The discussion would be worse. It would be worse than what I see on YouTube last night. I think you guys kind of hold it back because you know you're on YouTube. You're in the public views. You understand? And I think that's it. But we need to be more, I would encourage more debate like this, but people have to come knowing that when you go to a debate, the next person has an opinion and you have your own opinion. And this is why they call it debates. It's opinion against opinion, facts against facts, you against me. You understand? Our presentation, my presentation against your presentation. It's not my character you're debating. I'm not debating your character. We're debating politics, so let's keep the argument to politics. I'm not a fool because I say something that you think is wrong. Or you're not a fool because you say something is wrong. And if we're all learned people, then we must understand there's no stupid suggestion. There's no stupid question. As people say, how can I idiot question that? There's no idiot question out there. And there's no stupid idiot suggestion. So, but I'd give both of you, if I was to rate that debate, I'd say, boy, you guys have a good C+. You understand? C++. Because I know if it had taken someplace else, out of the eyes of the camera and all of these things, it would be worse. The response would be worse. And that's been the trend of Jamaica and our political discord and our political discourse, I should say, and the way we discuss politics. Because we believe that we should curse out the other man and curse out the other man. Even the politicians themselves do it. Listen to them in the campaign. Everything they talk about. JLP are this and JLP are that and PMP are this and PMP are that. Now, how can we rule a divided nation? Now, I don't see how people don't recognize this disconnection. I don't see how these politicians do not realize the disconnection. I am convinced otherwise, though, that they want it that way. So most of them are pretending they don't see the disconnection, because there's no way you can present your party as the sole best party for the country when you plant a seed of divisiveness and come to tell me you're governing the country for all Jamaica. You want to run this for all Jamaica when you're this very person who plant the seed of divisiveness. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to be smarter than that as people coming up. We really can't sit here and allow this thing to continue, because like I said, the politics is going down in the gutter. Just listen to the way we discuss politics. We're driving it down in the politics, and it's going to get worse. And it's going to get worse. What is so wrong? What is so wrong if PMP and JLP come together? And I'd like someone to answer me this. What is so wrong if the PMP and the JLP come together and work on one thing for the country? Or two things. One or two things for the country. Okay, we agree on these two things. We're going to do it together. But the rest of stuff, you got to do it on your own. Two things. Why can't that happen? No. You're telling me you're doing this and doing that for the country. That was the second one. Chuck, everybody said you won that round of debate, but from where I stand in terms of politics, I know it relates to the people. And I think debate should also not just display just not about who know more than who is right or who is wrong. You understand? But the debate should be about presentation. What am I learning from your debate? What are the voters learning from what you guys are saying? How do I help to convince voters that this is so? You understand? That this party is good, this is where this party is good, and this is where this party is weak, this is where party 2 is weak, and this is where party 2 is good and party 1 is weak. Let us call them. We want to talk about the JLPs. This is the area in which the JLP is good. In your debate, you got to get these messages out there to people. Because remember, debate, maybe between yourself and the next person. But the assessment, the evaluation is not between you two guys. Your audience. So if they don't walk away with a clear understanding of something coming out of a debate, especially politics and religion. When we talk about politics and religion, man, listen, when we're debating these things, people need to walk away with some clear understanding and some clear conviction or commitment. And that's where I say I give you guys a C+ for that. And I hope you guys take that into consideration next time when you're doing, because I'd love to see you guys again. Round 2 debate, because I know you both, Triplex and Chuck, you guys will prepare yourself better and should learn from this and know how to conduct yourself a lot better when it comes to debate and all of that. The other video I looked at was about just a snippet of it I saw. Isat Buchanan over in East Portland. Well, everybody would like to win them seat. I can only wish Isat Buchanan the best because he's a human being and he might try what he want to do. And, I can't chew on a stone. I don't know who can chew on a stone because none of us now come free of any blame or anything. We all have our shortcomings, we all have everything. Still, my conviction is that Isat Buchanan is really not a politician at heart. Really not a politician. So, I give him a very mediocre chance to win that seat over in East Portland. When I say mediocre. Meaning if the JLP put a donkey over there to represent them, I think that donkey will go walk away victorious. So, it's no disrespect to Isat Buchanan, but like I said, I don't think he's a politician at heart. No. He's not a politician at heart. So, I just want to say that, Mr. Buchanan. Other than that, shout out to you. And if you're in this thing for the long haul, I know it's going to take you some time to really get your foot wet and all of these things. But ladies and gentlemen from Jamaica all over, we need to take the politics serious and we need to take note of how these guys are destroying our politics and our political life. And destroy their own dignity amongst each other, PNP and JLP alike. But one of the hidden things I'd like to point out to people, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Don't assume these guys are enemies the way you think they are on the surface. Don't think they are enemies the way you assume them to be by what they're saying about each other. Watch what they do. Listen to what they say. Most importantly, watch what they do. I'm going to say this again. I worked at King's House as a telephone operator. And I've listened to debates in the house. PNP curse out JLP, JLP curse out PNP. And every evening after debate, 2 or 3 evenings out of the week, they all meet at King's House for dinner, exchanging gold watches and tapping each other on the shoulder. Well done, boy, you were good today, you were good, but you were tough on me. Next time, take it a little easy now. Go a little easier now, man. Boy, you don't know, we have to make the thing look real. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot repeat that thing. I cannot repeat it often enough. Don't think these politicians are enemies as they make it seems. Don't think they are. I want to say thanks to Jamaica again, and I just ask everyone if you see this video. I know I'm regurgitating a lot of stuff. I'm keep repeating myself, but I really need to get to the people, not to the politicians. And I know there are some people you won't reach because the diarted PNP and the diarted Labour rights, and you're not going to reach to these people to understand that your support, when you do these kind of things, your support is not about Jamaica. Your support is just party support, party support. And it's time for us to rise up and start defend Jamaica on a platform. It's time to rise up and talk about Jamaica. You understand? And I'll say this final before I close. Any party wins the election is going to have a hard time governing the country. Already America is in a recession where our economy is tied into that. Ralston Hyman, big up, bless up. One Avenue, big up, bless up to you guys. If you have a feature, one Ralston Hyman. Enough people say you're an idiot, boss, but you have said a whole lot of things. That is very, very true. And I remember the very same PGA partisan, Michael Manley. He hated your guts. Because remember, when Marty Perkins need to explain the economy to the Jamaican people, you were one of the people who was always on multi-programs. And you were always spot on. So I've been listening to you and watching you a long time, Mr. Hyman. I'm not an economist, I said. I'm not an economist. But I take my cat off to your boss. Because we need people like you in Jamaica to come on and talk to the people them too. And give them a different perspective from what the politicians are saying. Because a lot of these politicians are not economists. They are not economists. So they run with what is written in front of them and present it to them. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lennie Robbins YouTube channel once again. I want to just say a blessed Tuesday to all Jamaican. Wish you a safe evening, peaceful night, restful night, and whatever you have to do. All who on the night shift, keep it locked and just do your thing. Give it your best shot at all times. Because we need Jamaica needs good quality service in every area of the country's performance right now. You understand? And the people who are up front leading, they are not giving us that they are not giving us that insight. They are not giving us that indication that they are here to give us quality leadership. They are not here they are not indicating that to us. So we have to set the example and lead. Because like I said, we are the building blocks. We are the change agents, not the politicians. We will make the changes for ourselves. You understand? For our own betterment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lennie Robbins YouTube show again. Know your politics. We need to come together to create a better understanding for every one of us. And we can do this effectively by just listening to what our politicians do. What they say, and watch what they do. Like I said, watch what they do. There's no man who can tell me you plant a divisive seed in my house, in my family, and then tell me to turn over the house to you for you to run it. Watch what they do. They have already divided the nation. How can you tell me or convince me now after dividing the nation that I must hand it over to you for you to run it? Ladies and gentlemen, Lennie Robbins YouTube channel, over and out. See you next time.